Today I am going to discuss about the anatomy and physiology for the GNM first years and the unit 6 respiratory system. So in this respiratory system, today topic is there is a muscles of respiration. So what are the muscles can be involved in the respiration? So now we are going to discuss about the what are the muscles can be involved in the respiration. So there is a muscles of the respiration. So the muscles can be one of the part in the respiratory system. It helps in the respiratory process. So the muscles can be help in the respiration. So the muscles of respiration, it is the process of ventilation, and muscles move the lung and the chest wall for the inspiration and the expiration. So in the there is a muscles can be helps in the move the chest and the chest wall and the lungs. So there is a muscles can be help for the respiration to move the chest, and there is a chest wall and the lungs. So there is a movement of the lungs and the chest wall for the respiration. So it can be done by the muscles. So the muscles can be help for the movement of the lungs and the chest wall for the expiration and the inspiration. So there is a inspiration and the expiration. The muscles can be help for the respiration, and there is a the muscles can be divided into the inspiratory muscles and the expiratory muscles and the accessory muscles of the respiration. So the muscles of respiration can be divided into three parts, and there is a inspiratory muscles and the expiratory muscles and the accessory muscles of the respiration. So first we will discuss about the inspiratory muscles. So inspiratory muscles includes the diaphragm. So diaphragm, it is become large and the dome shape. So it is become large and dome shape means it is like this. So it is a large and the dome shape. Dome shape means it is become like, and there is a dome shape and the muscular structure and separating the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. So the diaphragmatic muscles can be become large, and there is a dome shape and the muscular structure. There is a separating the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. So the muscular structure can be separating the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity, and it forms the floor of the thoracic cavity. So the muscles can be forms the floor of the thoracic cavity and the roof of the abdominal cavity. So the muscles can be, the muscular structures can be helps in the separating the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity, and there is a diaphragmatic muscles can be forms the floor of the thoracic cavity, and there is a roof of the abdominal cavity. So the diaphragmatic muscles can be helps in the formation of floor of the thoracic cavity and the roof of the abdominal cavity, and consists of fibrous central part called as there is a central tendon. So the diaphragmatic muscles can be consist of fibrous central part. So it is called as central tendon. So the muscles can be consist of fibrous central part, and it is called as central tendon. When the muscle is relaxed, the central tendon is at the level of the 8th thoracic vertebrae. So when the muscles become relaxed and the central tendon is at the level of the 8th thoracic vertebrae. So there is a 12 thoracic vertebrae. So if the muscle is relaxed, and the diaphragmatic muscles can be relaxed, and the central tendon can be at the level of the 8th thoracic vertebrae, and when the diaphragmatic muscles can be contracts and the central tendon is pulled downwards to the level of the 9th thoracic vertebrae. So when the diaphragmatic muscles can be contracts, there is a central tendon can be pushed down towards the level of the 9th thoracic vertebrae. So when the muscle is relaxed and the the central tendon can be at the level of the 8th thoracic vertebrae when the diaphragmatic muscles can be contracted, and the central tendon can be at the level of the 9th thoracic vertebrae. So the diaphragm, it is become large and the dome shape, and the muscular structure can be separates the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. So the diaphragmatic muscles can be forms the floor of the thoracic cavity and the roof of the abdominal cavity, and there is a consist of fibrous central part, it is called as central tendon. So next one is it decrease the pressure in the thoracic cavity and increase in the abdominal and pelvic cavity. So because of this there is a contraction and there is a relaxation, and because of this decrease the pressure in the thoracic cavity and increase the abdominal and the pelvic cavity. So there will be a pressure will be increased in the thoracic abdominal and pelvic cavity. Pressure will be decreased in the thoracic cavity and the pressure can be increased in the abdominal and pelvic cavity. So the diaphragm is slightly depressed by the heart. So the heart can be situated at the upside of the diaphragm. So because of this situation of the heart, there is the location of the heart. Because of the location of the heart, the diaphragm can be slightly depressed. So the heart can be situated above the diaphragm. So because of this heart, the diaphragm can be depressed slightly, and there are two domes. So it is a one dome and it is become two domes. So the diaphragm consists of two domes. It is a one dome and it is a two domes, and the diaphragm consists of two domes. It is a right and the left dome, and the right dome is supported by the liver. So the right dome can be supported by the liver. So the right dome can be supported by the liver slightly higher than the left. So the left become lower and there is a right dome become higher than the left dome. So there is a diaphragm is slightly depressed by the heart. So the heart can be situated upper part of the diaphragm. So because of this heart, the diaphragm can be depressed slightly. So and it consists of two domes. It is a right dome and it is a left dome. So right dome can be supported by the liver, and there is a right dome can be higher than the left dome. So there is a right dome can be supported by the liver and slightly higher than the left. So right dome can be slightly higher than the left dome. So it is about the diaphragm. The diaphragm, and next one is relations. So relations, it includes the superiorly diaphragmatic surface and the heart. So the superior part of the muscles, diaphragmatic muscles can be superiorly attached to the diaphragmatic surface and the heart. So superior part of the diaphragmatic muscles can be attached to the surface of the diaphragm and the heart. And next one is inferiorly. So inferior part of the diaphragmatic muscles can be attached to the liver and the fundus of the stomach and the spleen. So the fundus is the upper part of the stomach. So it can be connected with the liver and the fundus of the stomach and the spleen. Fundus means there is a upper part of the stomach. So there is superiorly the diaphragmatic muscles can be attached to the diaphragmatic surface and the heart, and the inferior part of the diaphragmatic muscles can be attached to the liver and the fundus of the stomach and the spleen. And next one is external intercostals. So external intercostal muscles can be included in the inspiration. So the external intercostal muscles also help for the respiration. So external intercostal muscles also help for the respiration, and there is a muscles extends downward and the forward from the lower border of the rib. So the external intercostal muscles can be extends downward and the forward from the lower border of the rib. So from the lower border of the rib and the intercostal muscles can be extends and downwards and upwards, and there is a forward and above the upper border of the rib. So the intercostal muscles can be arise from the lower border of the rib and it can be extends downward and forward, and there is a above the upper border of the rib. So the muscles can be supplied to the, there is a downward and the forward and from the lower border of the ribs and the upper border of the rib, and the fibers run into oblique direction. So the fibers of these external intercostal muscles can be run as a in a oblique direction. So oblique direction, the muscles can be run in a oblique direction. So the fibers of this external intercostal muscles can be run in a oblique direction and inferiorly. So inferiorly, the external intercostal muscle fibers can be run in a oblique direction and they elevate the ribs during the inhalation to help the expand the thoracic cavity. So external intercostal muscles can be help to elevate the ribs during the inhalation. So during the inhalation, the muscles can be help for the elevation of the ribs and to help the expansion of the thoracic cavity. So because of this elevation of ribs and there is an expansion of the thoracic cavity during the inhalation. So there is an expansion of the thoracic cavity and there is an elevation of the ribs can be the help by the external intercostal muscles. So because of this external intercostal muscles, there is a thoracic cavity expansion can be occur and there is a elevation of the ribs can be occur during the inhalation process. So the external intercostal muscles can be help for the inhalation and they can be involved in the inspiration. So the external intercostal muscles can be help for the inspiration. So it is about the muscles of the respiration and there is a inspiratory muscles. So inspiratory muscles, it is one of the part in the muscles of respiration and it can be help for the respiration.